Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nexus. And we're running in a circle. Fuck it, we're not doing an intro. We're just going. We're just going. I don't have time for no intro. We gotta go. I have laps to run. I got like... I'm so close to the top of one singular tower. We have to keep going. I need this to end before I die. I refuse to let this wad win. My patience has been tested. The pain to my psyche immense. But I refuse. I refuse to let this zigzagging motherfucker ruin my life. I can get knocked down by these fences, but I will get up again. Hey, Loser Corner. How you doing? I'm glad you're having a good day. Welcome back to Ring Around the Towers. Hey, Evie, have the past 4 Doom streams seriously just been this? Yes. Yes, it has. Because I ain't no quitter. I wasn't going to give up with one map left. No sirree, Bob. I'm doing it. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm not doing 97 out of 98 levels. Just a podcast with Doom as the background? Well, actually, you know what? That's exactly what it has been. It has literally just been an interactive podcast. And frankly, I think it's actually been going pretty good. Maybe we should quit this all and just podcast. Because we talk about a whole range of things now that I'm completely freed up to not pay attention to anything going on in front of me. We've talked about we've spoken about topics that range from capitalism to cheese. It's been a very enlightening experience so far. I've learned more about my viewers. I mean, considering how it's gonna have like 100 episodes at this rate, I guesstimate that it will have in between 7 and 8 episodes. That would be my guesstimation. I'm trying to utilize while running an SR-15 as much as possible. Even though I'm not, like, great at either of those things. But I've done 2 full laps. I've done 2 full laps, and I got to the top of a tower just at the end. Or not the top of the tower. Just before the top of a tower. I'm on the 3rd floor of a tower. So you know what? It's been... I'm on schedule. But no, this is a great time, Evie. If you have any burning questions you want to know about my life, you want to know how I feel about various things, now's the time to ask. Or if you want, I can ask you about your stuff. Tell me about your Doom history. Tell me about when you fell in love with Doom. Was it your parent, an older sibling who got you into it first? A friend? Tell me your story. Loser Corner, if you're still listening, why don't you tell me your story too? My dad introduced me to him when I was 3. That sounds vaguely irresponsible, given the subject matter, but hey, I mean, I guess I was like 5. Those 2 years make a big difference in understanding the blood. No, he introduced when you were 3. But did you fall in love with it right away, or was it like that was just your first memory, but then later you went and played it for yourself, or your dad played it so much and you kept watching him and you were mesmerized? Because that's kind of what happened to me. I watched my dad play it a whole bunch and I was mesmerized. You just like to shoot demons? So are you like not a narrative gamer? Are you like RPG? Who cares about RPGs? I'm gonna shoot shit. I'm a certified gamer, bro. I'll play pretty much anything. Except sports games. Fucking sports games. I mostly have memories of me playing rather than me watching my dad play. Well, all my earliest memories are watching my dad play, and then eventually me playing it by myself. And then playing tons of, like, custom Doom levels on a CD set that my dad had that had 7,000 wads on it. It's good times. It's good times. However, 7,000 wads, that probably means most of them suck, but, you know. And then, of course, a bunch of them were death matches. Yeah. And certainly weren't as highfalutin as Junk Food 4 is. I remember playing TNT, Plutonium 2, and Alien Vendetta with cheats. Well, I played Doom 1 and Doom 2, of course, over and over and over again. Because I just loved it so much. Sometime when I first started, I think I did use a bunch of cheats. Partially because I was a pussy, but also because I just loved... I loved the slaughter, you know? I actually don't think I played Final Doom all the way through until I started streaming. Honestly. Like, I had it. I had access to them. But I never actually finished it. But no, the WAD that I played that really made me go, oh, holy shit, was the original Aliens WAD with all the custom aliens. That was the first time when I realized, holy shit, like, you can do stuff with this game. Because obviously I had heard of custom maps and seen custom maps, but that was the first time I'd seen like a custom map, if you know what I mean. And I was shooketh. By the time I was done, I couldn't even. I had lost my ability to even. You got introduced to Final Doom, specifically TNT, through YouTube. And then you found Plutonia. I didn't even know they were part of the same bundle. Yeah, no, see, my dad purchased Final Doom on the CD. Like, we had 2 CDs, one for TNT, one for Plutonia. Whoops, don't mind me. Just trying to get some extra sound going here. Break up the monotony. Whoops. Ah! But no, yeah, your dad bought TNT as well. Illegally downloaded, you mean? My dad would never. He's too paranoid. What do you mean, no? He's too paranoid. Your dad no longer does that, but used to in spades. No. My dad's still afraid of the internet, so... My dad would never do something like illegally download anything. He's still afraid of the internet. He used to say all the 7 C's, but doesn't anymore. Is he too paranoid about what the government knows about his internet use? Is that my dad is actually still paranoid about the internet. He hates putting his credit card on any website, so he doesn't like do any online shopping. He is legitimately terrified of like the internet. He did play a god-awful amount of World of Warcraft, though, so I guess there's that. He had no problem putting a credit card on that thing. It had to feed his addiction, though. And you know what? Considering how much of a computer nerd I was, I never really got into pirating stuff either, actually. It all felt a little too complicated to me. That was the first thing. And the second thing, I had seen firsthand, like, my friend who was somebody who was using, like, LimeWire and shit back in the day. How he got the shit virus out of his computer. And after that, I was like, maybe this isn't a good idea. And then I just never did it afterward. Oh, I can still wall run up the stairs. Make sure I'm facing the direction I assumed I was. Yep. Okay, we're good. Yeah, don't fall. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Doom Guy. Oomph, oomph, oomph. Oomph, oomph, oomph. This is just the running theory that Doom Guy has like the worst ankles or knees or something, because this poor man can't jump, and even just walking down the stairs seems to exert just the worst pain on him. He's just oofing all over the place. So yeah, Evie, do you play anything else? Do you play any RPGs? Do you partake in like platformers? He put all his stats into speed, no vertical mobility. I mean, toddlers can jump, man. I feel like even with 0 skill points in jumping, you'd be able to get some distance. You know? RPGs are a mixed bag for you, but you like platformers, so a Mario fan, a person of culture, I see. I say I like platformers too, but in all honesty, I don't play that many of them. But I do like me some Mario. I mean, I feel like you had to be some sort of heartless person to not enjoy Mario. He's such a charming little guy. With his little overalls. I don't think I've ever met a single person who actually hates Mario. Come on, man. You just haven't been looking hard enough. It doesn't matter what or how universally loved it is. Somebody out there hates it. Cheesecake. There's people who hate cheesecake. I don't know how they're human. I often suspect that those are the lizard people all the conspiracy theorists keep telling me about. Someone tell me, oh, I'm not a fan of cheesecake. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but they want to be interesting. Oh, so what you're saying is they probably do like cheesecake, but they don't want to. They don't want to follow the crowd. They just want to. I just love, like, when I was growing up, when I was in school, it was actually hilarious watching the transition. The transition between copying everybody and then, like, getting shit on if you copied anybody. Like, in my father's day, when he was going to school, it's like you had to join a group and like, assimilate to the group. You were a jock. You were a chess nerd. You had to join a group and then follow the rules of said group. And if you decided you didn't want to follow a group, well, then you played D&D. Those were the only options. And then by the time I went to school, it's like, if somebody wore a shirt and you thought it was cool and bought the same shirt, oh, you're a conformist. You're a conforming asshole. And like, can we just get to the point where someone can just do whatever the fuck they want? Can we just get to that happy middle ground where it's like, oh, they want to join a group and assimilate into that group? The answer should be, okay. And it's like, they don't want to assimilate to any group. The answer should be, okay. No? Just no? No, should people conform or not conform? Like, what was that no in regards to? Oh, hey, more of this. Hey, Yodi, how are you today? I missed you yesterday, buddy. We were doing so much zigzagging, like you wouldn't believe. I did? Why? Because you've been my Mortal Coil buddy. When nobody else would join the stream because they saw what I was doing, they were like, what the fuck? And you dared to join the stream. You refuse to elaborate? Says no to my question. Leaves, refuses to elaborate. You tried to warn me? Listen. When it comes to Doom, clearly I am a masochist. There's no other explanation. I obviously fucking hate myself. I'm not going the Markiplier route. I just want to see what my body can handle. I think I just hate myself. So I force myself to suffer in as many ways as possible. So you can warn me, but all it does is make the problem worse. Because then I'm just like, I'm being warned, am I? That sounds like a challenge. I just love how in retrospect I didn't want to play Sunder because I heard the levels were long. And yet here I am. Here I am doing this shit. LOL, LeMayo even, Rafflecopter. I feel like Iodi's not somebody that LOLs very much, so I want to call that a victory on my part, that I didn't just get him to LOL, he Rafflecoptered. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure no Sunder level is as long as this. So I don't know. Maybe after this, I should just play Sunder, you know? I'm not playing Sunder right away. I need to do something... Oh, for fuck's sake. I gotta do something a little more relaxing after this. But I think if I can get through this, I'll be much less opposed to playing Sunder. If you can make a recommendation, don't play consecutively. Like how I wasn't really supposed to play this consecutively. That thing I wasn't supposed to do, but did it anyway. Do tell. Why should I not play consecutively? Enlighten me to your doom ways. I mean, play a level, then play some other stuff, then play some more Sunder. Yes, but why? Why not go all... I did junk food every stream in a row. It'll make it more enjoyable. I don't know. My crippling OCD when it comes to video gaming, I don't think would allow me to do what you're suggesting. Junk food had a lot of variety. I mean, this level compared to all the other levels is technically variety, isn't it? Because there's no other level quite like this. It just depends on what part of the variety you're looking at. So, the reason why I tend to not leave a Megawad and come back to it later, unless I have to, like it's in the middle of October or something, is if I stop doing something, there is a very good chance I will not come back to it. It's an unfortunate quirk of my personality that makes it really annoying. If like the moment I'm like, I'm gonna stop this game for now and come back to it later, I either never come back to it later, or get to a point where I try to come back to the game, but I've been gone for so long, I don't remember how to play it, get frustrated, and then I have to start over, which just starts the vicious cycle again. Sunder, you will be playing each level for multiple streams, but not 16 hours, right? And I heard, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard with Sunder, it's like the final like set of levels that's really bad. Like, the first handful of levels of Sunder aren't that bad at all. It's like the back 9 or something that are like, oh, why the fuck did I do this to myself? I shouldn't have eaten that burrito. I think I gotta turn around for a second there. Come on, dude, guy, you can do it. We can get there. We can get to the tower. No, so after this, I'll be doing Doom Mod Monday for Terratober, which means it's horror or spooky or off-putting Doom mods. After that, I'm actually not positive. I had originally intended to play Ramp. Back when I thought I'd be done Junk Food 4 by now. Fuck. This map is 17 hours with no deaths, but you're not dying. I feel like I'm dying, actually. The Southern maps are potentially several hours with no deaths. I see, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down, sir. Ugh. Yeet! Oh. The fact I cannot yeet myself off this tower, I feel like, is robbing me of the greatest possible experience. And now we have to add the extra climb time to every one of these towers now. Sunner is like Occupluck in that it was the hardest gameplay the map's author could envision, with the main difference being Insane Gazebo has a much deeper understanding of Doom gameplay than Occupluck did, a balance on skill, not resource scarcity. So you're still just making it sound like it's a fun challenge then. I'm really sorry, guys. It's been a long work week. I'm trying really hard not to yawn. I am not bored. I am just exhausted this week. It can be a fun challenge, but it'll be a massive time investment. No, in all honesty, I don't think I'll be... Why am I getting that message now? In all honesty, I probably won't play it because I'm still aware that of the very potentially real time investment that and time sink that would be going into this. So it'll be more fun to play than Occupluck was. It's just playing better. Oh, I most certainly believe that. Did I get turned around? No, I didn't. Okay. I got worried there for a second. Although if I did get turned around, I wouldn't be completely fucked, so I'm not too concerned. Now, I think I might still try to play some Ramp in November when I'm done Terratober. I want to see what the Doom community put out there this year. Especially since David kind of gave the stipulation this year that the people should try to keep their maps within a 10-minute time limit. Because that was my main problem with RAM 2024 when I was playing it, is that there were some maps that were just god-awfully long. And, like, long but not, like, fun or not that fun or challenging on top of it to match the length. 10 minutes, I could barely make a hallway, a room, and door. That no. The map length, like how long it takes to play it, should be around 10 minutes. Not you have 10 minutes to make a map. That would be hilarious, considering the whole point of ramp is to get newbies into map making. That's the real goal of ramp. So, you know, it'd be kind of shitty to put that kind of time stipulation on a nublet. But no, like there was a couple of ramp levels I played that tried to do some of the like slottery stuff. But like didn't understand fundamentally where the fun comes from in a slaughter map in terms of like the balancing of fights and shit. Because like there was a fight where you're in a room with a plasma gun or BFG, I can't remember what it is, but there's infinite cells on the floor basically. But it's like something like 1,000 barons comes out at you, or like 800 barons or something. But there's no like challenge to it because the room is huge. The room's huge, and while I can't circle strafe immediately as they're pouring out of the hallway they're in, I just have to horseshoe, and it just, but because it's like 1,000 barons, it's like, it took forever to do it, but there was no challenge to it. If you're going to toss 1,000 enemies on me, I should only be circle strafing in the last, like, you know, 100 or 250 or whatever. The moment I start doing nothing but circle strafe and there's no danger to me dying, it kind of takes it really takes the fun out of it, because you're like, all I'm doing is essentially running in a circle now. So playing that map did allow me to fully appreciate what happens when a slaughter map author is actually, like, careful about how they put shit in. You know? And proper balancing, you know, all very important things. And it immediately made me think, if I make a Doom map, I don't think my first one's going to be a slaughter map. I don't think I have the ability. Okay, we're at the 500-minute mark. We've officially passed the 8-hour mark, so we should theoretically be more than halfway through. And I believe and I'm pretty sure that we are. So frankly, I'm winning. while I admit that this is getting, like, taxing on my mental health, I think the fact that I'm over halfway there keeps me going, you know? Because no matter how I look at it now, I've now already, like, the time that's left in the WOD is less than the time I've spent on the WOD, probably. I still don't know how the fight works, so probably. So, you know, I find it harder to give up once I've hit that milestone. Now, whether or not my brain, which is exhausted from the week I had, will let me do this. Hang on a second. Oh my. Sorry about that. Random text message. Not a big deal. Hey, has anybody here watched that new K-pop Demon Hunters movie? Because if you have, I would like to try and have someone explain to me how that movie has such a fucking chokehold on young girls. Because my daughter's daycare showed it to them as their end of month movie or end of summer movie. And Jesus Christ, all she wants to do is listen to the soundtrack in the car. I can say this about the fight at the end. If you found this level amazing, the fight at the end will freeze you in place when it's revealed. That either means it's a troll or, like, it's something, like, absolutely bonkers, like 12,000 cyber demons. Those are the only two explanations to go along with what you just said. But yeah, no, seriously. So my 6-year-old, every time we get in the car, she's like, turn on K-pop Demon Hunters. Turn on K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, of course, she watched it when she was home, and then my 3-year-old watched it with her, and now my 3-year-old's obsessed. I'm actually going to try and watch them. I'm actually going to try and watch the movie with them over the weekend, because I need to see. I need to do research as to how the hell this movie has such a chokehold on people. It better be fucking good. Like, the songs are catchy, but it's all she wants to listen to. She hasn't been like this since Let It Go and Frozen, you know? You are more correct than you can know while also being completely wrong. I don't know how to interpret that. How could I be more right than I know while also being completely wrong? But that would imply that I was really, really, really wrong, and I'm just closer to less wrong than you think that I am. I don't think that sentence made any sense. I don't even think that's how English works, honestly. So, Eodi, do you think you're gonna show up for any of my Terratober streams? Is there a horror game you totally want to watch me play? Is there something spooktacular you'd be like, I need to see next? Shit his pants to that. Alien Isolation. Nostromo DLC since you have a time constraint. I will definitely consider it. The first thing I'm going to be playing will be the Room 3 because I do one room game every year and it pisses Jay off every goddamn time. So I feel like it just wouldn't be correct to not start Terratober off without absolutely making Jay lose his fucking marbles. I think it has to happen. Alternatively, World of Horror, a roguelike game celebrating 80s Japanese PC engine adventures. I don't know about that Japanese horror, man. That place fucked up when it comes to horror. Can I even put that on stream? Huh. It might be in English, but it's 100% safe for work. For starters, it's all in black and white. That doesn't mean it's safe for work. It might make it a little more safe for work, but it doesn't make it safe for work. There's no rape tentacles or anything like that. That's not actually quite what I was thinking, but thanks for putting that energy out there. Oh, now my video is demonetized. Or at least that's what it would say if it was monetized as it was, but 'tis not. Think Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Ju-On, or Lovecraft type stuff. I do like me some Ju-On. Japan is... Ju-On and Ringu just tell me that Japan is afraid of women with long hair. Like, anytime there's a woman with long hair in front of their face, they're like, ah! She needs a haircut! Oh my god! It's a specific type of ghost. Well, Ju-On was a sort of vengeance ghost or something like that. It's no stranger than a dude with a cape, a widow's peak, and a Hungarian accent being the default vampire in the West. Listen. The accent's cool as fuck, okay? Did you ever actually read the original Dracula book? Because everyone hails, like, the Dracula book, you know, the original Dracula as a... You know, the pinnacle of horror in terms of kicking off the horror genre. It and Frankenstein really kicked off the horror genre in novel form. And I read Dracula in high school. It's of its day. Frankenstein or Modern Prometheus was better. I read Dracula in high school, and I was not a fan. And it's mostly because there was like 200 pages in the middle that didn't need to be there. They added absolutely fucking nothing to the... Absolutely added nothing to the story. And I know they added nothing to the story because around the time that I was reading Dracula in high school, there was a local production company putting on a theater performance of Dracula, which I went to go see on Halloween with my classmates. And in the play, they completely omitted all 200 pages. Everything that happened in those 200 pages was completely omitted from the play, and it made no goddamn difference to the plot. And I'm like, I think once we have 200 extra pages, I feel like we need to step back a second here. Now I feel like we're padding length for the sake of padding length. Because I was like into the first few chapters when, you know, one of the main characters visits Dracula in his castle. I can't remember why the fuck he was there, but like I was into it, and then Dracula doesn't appear in like the last half of the book at all until the very, very end. I was like, this is just... I'm reading a novel called Dracula. I feel like I should be seeing Dracula more than 30% of the book, you know? That being said, I haven't read Frankenstein, even though I've obviously heard great things about it. But as somebody who's watched a lot of horror, played a lot of horror, read horror, not a ton of horror. I don't get as much time to read as I want to. I like Dracula just feels quaint as fuck. And I do wonder, like, as someone who hasn't read Frankenstein but knows, like, the general story of Frankenstein, I even hesitate to call that a horror novel. Just because there's a monster in it doesn't immediately make it horror, you know? It is a horror novel? Okay. I mean, it explores some heavy themes. I just wasn't sure if it had, like, actual spooks and shit in it, you know? Was anybody actually getting spooked by Frankenstein? I mean, I haven't read much horror in my life. When it comes to horror, I feel like I'm a much more visual person, so I don't tend to read horror. I've read The Shining, of course, because I feel like as a horror aficionado, you can't not read The Shining. And then watch the accompanied film. Or I guess vice versa, it doesn't really matter. You could read the novel second or whatever, but... But now I feel like in order to get, like, properly spooked, I'm going to end up reading some stuff that's, like, actually, like, fucked up. But it dips into existential horror. Victor is the real monster. Absolutely. You have to understand that the creature in the book was very little in common with the Boris Karloff monster. Adam can think, feel, and understand his situation. Ooh, that is depressing, then. So it's not just the, stumbling around monster. I got you. So it's still not necessarily like spooks per se, just, oh my god, this is awful. This is just awful for him. Now he has a face-to-face confrontation with his creator, whom he calls father, and has to deal with being told he is hated. Yeah, so it's not spooky, it's gut-wrenching. Probably speaks to the experience of a neglected child. Now, I want to start trying to read some more horror novels, but I just haven't found too many that grab my attention much from the synopsis, The story has no supernatural elements. It's presented as science gone amok, so you're not going to get spoops. Yeah, I feel like with my horror, I'm a more visual person as opposed to theater of the mind type horror, Hell, War of the Worlds is a horror novel in addition to being sci-fi. It is a horror, especially for the time that it came out. Nowadays, if they're like, aliens have come to destroy the world, we'd be like, oh, fucking let it do it. It's fine. We probably shouldn't be allowed out here anymore anyway. But at the time, it probably was very scary for people. The idea of an enemy that you can't fight. That no matter what you throw at it, you can't kill it. Am I familiar with the Tom Cruise movie? I did see it around the time it came out. Don't ask me to remember too much of it, but I did see it when it came out. The parts where people are getting captured, put into baskets, and mulched to terraform the planet comes from the novel. Yeah, so not even necessarily just dying. You're dying in a terrible way. I will try on every level. There might be a spot. Ah! I give up. Now, am I familiar with the Tom Cruise? I've seen that, but I feel like I should become more of a fan of the War of the Worlds movie that just came out for Amazon. I hear that's a fantastic movie. Ugh. Gotta get my eyes a rest. I'm like legit going cross-eyed staring at these fences, man. Like, I think the level might be causing eye strain at this point, but I can't give up. I must continue. I refuse to let this map get the best of me. Je refuse. But no, like, with that new War of the Worlds movie, it's obviously really what it's meant to be is a shameless plug for Amazon. But what always gets me about this, it's like, who would watch that and be fooled, you know? Because, like, it's so on the nose, you know you're being sold to. Do they think they were being subtle? Like, because the moment that a movie, an ad in a video or anything goes way too hard, it just turns me off so fast. And I can't imagine I'm the only one. I'm sure plenty of people get ticked off whenever someone's trying to sell them shit. Which, unfortunately, is everything nowadays. There isn't an app you can open on your phone that isn't tossing some sort of advertisement at you. I long for the bygone days of yore where commercials and ads were either in a newspaper, a magazine, or spread amongst 8 minutes on in 8-minute segments in your TV that I could easily get up and walk away from while I waited for them to come back. I understand how you feel. Fortunately, Ford automobiles never test my patience. Always get me to where I go affordably and reliably. I love the TM too. That's just icing on the cake. I see what you did there, sir. Like that Wayne's World skit. I don't bow to any sponsor. Don't get me wrong, I like ads every once in a while. They tell me about things I may not have known about otherwise, but like, it's getting excessive now to the point of ridiculous. Like, companies are going like full blown Ready Player One. Our studies indicate that we can fill up 75% of their field of vision with ads before we induce seizures. So get on that. This shitpost is brought to you by generous grant from Dow, Alco, and Sam Malton Foundation, and viewers like you. Now here's Grover to say the exact same thing in a different voice. If you would like more quality programming like this, we need your support. Hang on. Playing this WOD 2 days in a row, I think is doing wonders on my eyes, man. Like, just... my eyes are tired. The last bit is more true than ever since public funding for PBS has been killed. It's such a shame. The funny thing is, even if you take censorship out of the equation, I feel like we're just going in a direction where it wouldn't have been publicly funded anyway. Because they're like, why are we spending money on this? We could be spending money on different things. They should be able to raise their own money. Because everything eventually becomes about saving money. So, with the government, with businesses, with ourselves even, it all comes about how do we save more money. And the thing is, I loved PBS. I loved all the like educational shows. I was a watcher of Bill Nye the Science Guy and Magic School Bus, because those used to come on PBS for me in Canada. I don't know if that's what they were on in America, but that's where I would see them. Without public funding, we never get a Mr. Rogers or a Sesame Street. Yeah, the Mr. Rogers one hurts, man. But it's like, I feel like you wouldn't want to have somebody replace Mr. Rogers. Like, I just feel like we wouldn't want somebody to. But at the same time, who could we have do a Mr. Rogers type show that would both be kind of like the old enough so people can recognize what they were going for, but also new enough for people who are young nowadays? Because I can tell you, I watched, anytime I watch an old cartoon or anything like that, and I just go, these cartoons were not ready for where technology and humans went, man. I'm not replacing him. I'm saying under the current environment, something like his program would never be allowed to exist. I suppose. Although I didn't even watch a lot of Mr. Rogers. I was more of a Mr. Dress-Up fan. I always wanted to know what was in the tickle trunk. I'm old enough to have watched the first run of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood episodes. I am not. Oh, not the first run, just like you would actually see new episodes. I got you. Well, unfortunately, the problem that, the government has is that any of the news that come on PBS, like Hardline, or what was it? Hardline? Yeah, weren't beholden to anybody, so they could do news stories about whatever they wanted, and people didn't like that. You ain't that old. You'd have to be in your 60s. Listen, get out of here with your mathematics. Let me believe you're old enough to have seen the original Mr. Rogers episodes. Let me believe. Don't worry, you might be on the older side, but if my dad was in chat right now, you wouldn't be the oldest, so... Okay, so they were making new episodes even when I was young. But no, I never did get into Mr. Rogers. I do wonder why. Maybe there wasn't enough silliness for me. Like, I needed more silliness. Which is probably why I preferred Mr. Dress-Up. But Christ, that's a long time to be on the air, too. $33 fucking years. You know what I was a fan of? I was a fan of The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. That was my comfort show. Even when I was young, I used to every now and then watch him paint. Not often, because I was still a cartoon kid, but... Bob Ross was the shit, man. I think he used to be on PBS in Canada as well. There's another... That's another guy who would have never gotten a platform if only programming was commercial. Not initially. By the end, he was turning his own profit because then the people that were with him were always like, "We'll sell these Bob Ross approved paints." So believe me, they ended up making money, but initially, no, he would not have gotten a platform. Because they were like, nobody's going to watch anybody paint. That was his own business? Yes, but there was this documentary I watched where, like, there was some shit going on behind the scenes, man. They did some shit to Bob, man. He was like manipulated and stuff. Allegedly. Everything's allegedly. I don't think it was ever proven. Jim, right? How do you miss the fucking buttons? How do you even do that? Why is the platform so fucking narrow there? He just ran out of line definitions and couldn't be bothered anymore. Okay, we have a completed tower. We have 1.5 completed towers, actually. This will be the second tower completed. Ross's partner screwed Bob's heirs out of the company shares after he died. Yeah, it was something like that. Fucking awful, man. But you know what? Like, I actually, after watching Bob Ross, especially more like when I got older, I actually thought about painting. I was like, I think I would love to give it a try. And then I saw how much everything costs, and I was like, never mind. Like, I'm literally too cheap to have hobbies. It's awful. My friend once tried to get me into Magic the Gathering. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm sorry, booster packs cost how much? Fuck it, I'm out. I'm done. No more Magic the Gathering. And I knew I dodged a bullet when I heard Day 9, one of my favorite streamers from back in the day, talk about how he allows himself to spend $100 per month on Magic cards. And I was like, and this was pre-pandemic, when $100 a month actually meant something. Although I hear Warhammer, that's the worst. That's the one I hear is the worst. If you're afraid about your kids getting into drugs, get them into Warhammer, because they'll have no money left to purchase drugs. You used to play Warhammer in the aughts is as expensive as I heard. Because unlike Magic the Gathering or anything which I looked into, I can afford a home, a new car, but I cannot afford a Land Raider. It's way worse now. Jesus. I mean, at least comic books used to be like 25 cents, and even in modern times, they're still only like $5 or whatever for a monthly issue. You know what I feel like? I feel like this level should be in VR. I should probably feel the amount that I'm walking. Price increases are 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation annually and have been that way for decades. Yep, 100%. But then accelerated by the unnamed virus from unspecified location. Reducing the game speed really adds to the experience. Hey, Lucky Eddie, how are you this evening? Doing okay, I hope. I'm glad to see you back for some more top-tier Doom gameplay. I am sleepy and I should be studying. I am 100% sleepy. Like, I am absolutely fubbernucked over here. Like, I probably shouldn't even be playing, but I need to do this. Also, trying to max map 20 of Simulacrum. Also, the game desires reliably make units that have existing models underpowered while making newly introduced models and units that they're mandatory for play or so good that you can't compete without them. Yeah, it's how they get you, right? So instead, they took something that was a fun hobby, and they're like, how can I monetize it harder? It's a free demo? So you're playing Doom instead of working on assignments. So, what do these assignments do, sir? Sir. If we assume that this level was built by, you know, an architect of some form, I mean, and then planned, you know, monster placements and everything, you know, like, there's like a shift manager with the monsters telling them where they gotta hide this week. I keep thinking I'm like almost there because the tower gets big, and I keep forgetting how big the tower actually is. Monday, your assignments are due Monday. And so, yet here you are procrastinating. And isn't it like... Well, actually, what time is it there for you? You're so far away, it might actually be something like 8 a.m. Yeah, Yodi, I think it's similar to like Lego. I hear Lego has gotten absolutely fucking out of hand with its prices too. Just absolutely wrecking shit with air prices. Lego is a bargain compared to Warhammer. Of course, Henry Cavill could afford it. King of the nerds, that man is. Yay, Eddie's here. Eddie should be studying, but he's here instead. What are you studying anyhow, Eddie, if you don't mind me asking? Hey, Dazboo, thanks for the raid. Hello, people. Hello. Welcome in. My name is Naxus. You haven't been here before. Thanks so much for the follow, Dazboot. Or Dazbot. Thank you so much for coming in. My name is Naxius. You're in the midst of probably the most entertaining possible Doom stream that you could have possibly rated. This is just an absolutely fantastic Doom level. No problem with playing the latest DBP. Have you tried this level? Have you tried the final level of Chunk Fruit 4? Have you tested your patience and endurance in such a way? Wee. So, how are you this evening? How was your stream? So you were financial planning. Well, doing financial planning studying is going to absolutely ruin any chance of you doing anything like Magic the Gathering, because you're going to know just how bad it is. Whee! Oh, I saw Recon Major play this. It took 14 hours, I think. It's gonna take me 16, I think, the way that we're moving. I would guesstimate about 16. Maybe a little bit faster. Maybe like 15 and a half. Which means I'm a little over half done. Which is all that's really motivating me to keep going here. Or maybe it was 17 in between there, I'll say that. Well, I was originally told it was a 17-hour map, and although, as I keep pointing out to people, I don't know how this fight goes that has 12,000 enemies in it. I have no idea how it goes, but so far as for the walking portion would be around in between 15 to 17 hours. It kind of depends. How brilliantly am I pulling off my SR50s? How much wall running am I able to consistently keep up with? Ugh. But no, this has been quite the test of endurance. I'm proud of myself for even making it this far. I will say it's funny, F, when you realize that the 12k monsters are and how they're used. No spoiling besides that. Nobody has spoiled it, but people are dropping enough hints that tell me it's either a troll of some sort, or the fight is absolutely fucked, like it's 12,000 cyber demons or something. Those are the only two things that I can guess based off of the subtle hints I've received so far. But thank you for no spoiling, episode. I appreciate that. But I mean, consider it takes me 16 hours just to get to the point where I can fight something. Also wounds me in many ways. Okay. I believe that's 2 towers done now. Whoops. Also, of course, I made that Grimace map. Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. I was mind-fucked by that map, by the way. Like, obviously, the general gist of Junk Food 4, as you're playing it, is, what the fuck did I just do? What the fuck did I just see? And then we dropped the Grimace map, and I'm like, what in the actual fuck did I just watch? And play, and hear. Why are my senses being bombarded in this way? But I gotta say, at the same time, it was a very nice reprieve from the previous couple of levels that had been eating my asshole. And not in the good way. Because yes, there is a good way to eat an asshole. Look it up. If you do Google it, be prepared for some other stuff. I think next time I do this stream for this level, I should probably bring like a can of Monster or something. Even though I don't like drink any caffeine ever, this might be when I make an exception. Because believe me, watching all of these gates wing by my field of vision over and over and over and over again is probably part of the reason why I'm like half asleep right now. The other half is because kids are fucking exhausting. Yeah, it's just slaughter with no regard for the quality of the map. I was going to do more with it, like outside McDonald's parking lot. But I didn't want to use more custom textures for the set that already had a lot of people with their other maps. I think it was fine just the way it was. Sure, you could have added more monsters. That doesn't mean it would have been as fun. It might have actually been less fun. Part of the problem I find with people who make custom anything, custom Doom maps, Mario maps, you know, etc., they suffer from the too much gene. They don't know when to call it quits and go, nope, this is done, or this is how this is staying. They can't do it. They just constantly keep picking at it and picking at it and picking at it. Like a 1-year-old up with their nose. I shouldn't just say 1-year-old. We all know there's some nose pickers of more advanced age. But you get my drift. God, every time I think I'm getting near the end, boom. The gates start taking me back in again. Yeah, it's just a slaughter with no... I wanted to also put in a Grimace meets meme reference, but of course the blue is swapped with purple. So now that, why didn't you do? The parking lot and everything might have been a bit too much. Blue Grimace boy may not have been too much. I feel like that's an artistic endeavor you should have explored. I gotta say, the back and forth fences, while more boring, at least offer a sense of consistency, whereas this does not. This is all over the place. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I am having a hard time staying awake. And it's not even, like I said, it's not even because I'm bored. It's just, I'm so fucking tired. Ugh. Whew. Whew. Yeah. That's the shit right there. Whew. Now we're awake. Woohoo! That is just what I needed. That actually helped a little bit. I reserved that. That is the panic button. But that was the main motivation, because I was making the level when the Mets were in the midst of that playoff run, and there was a big deal about Grimace with the team because he threw a first pitch and they turned their season around after that. Yeah, I get that play in less Doom because I'm trying to get a consistent sleep schedule going with a new job. I'm kind of fucked when it comes to a sleep schedule, but that's because I have 2 small children. One of them is... she's still small. She's 6. But that means she's going to school, which means we have a very consistent schedule in the morning. And all that jazz. The problem, at least my problem, will go away in a few years. There's a goal in mind in the future. To get my children to be teenagers so they'll let me sleep. And they'll let me sleep because they'll probably be asleep. But you got a new job? Do you want to share what your new job is? Is it, Yeah, I'll see how it goes. It's a mail carrier job. At least it's rural routes, though. No, like, back roads driving. That pays decently well, though, right? Pretty sure it does. $20 an hour? That's not bad in this economy. And is that 12 American dollars or in my case in Canada that would be the equivalent of like 6 of your dollars? Hey, in Canada they make like $27 an hour. No, in America, in freedom dollars, that's about 13. They're only making $30 an hour. I enjoy driving on the highway or anywhere where there isn't a fuck ton of traffic. I wanted to do data analytics, but the economy is so shit for degree-level jobs and entry-level tech jobs in general. Basically need a PhD or master's now. Well, even if you had a PhD or master's, it wouldn't even make a difference. Because they'd still be paying you shit. It's so depressing. I'm lucky. I got a job almost 12 years ago, and I'm decent at it, so I haven't lost it. Unfortunately, the yearly increases aren't really keeping up with inflation, so sooner or later, there's a difficult decision in my future. Wee. So Das, would that make you a baseball fan that you knew that piece of baseball lore, or is the lore just so wacky that you were like, you know what? Even as not a fan of baseball, I appreciate the memes. Because I can guarantee you I am not a sports ball fan. Baseball. I graduated during COVID in 2020, so yeah, been horrible since. Worst time to... Ooh. You have my sympathies. Although... Yeah, I don't watch baseball, basketball, football. And I think it's not even so much that I hate the sports in general. From Long Island, New York originally. Oh, well, there you go, right? No, I think it's just that I find watching sports on television to be boring as fuck. Just can't do it. Because I'm a Canadian. You think I'd be watching the shit out of hockey, and I just can't do it. I can't watch hockey on TV. It bores the shit out of me. But I've been to hockey games. And when I'm at hockey games, I get right into it. Sometimes my wife even laughed at me because she was like, "You're getting way too into this." But I can't watch sports on TV, which means I'm just not into them, because that's how I'm primarily going to be watching any sport. I've heard that going to a baseball game is quite the experience. Well, it makes sense. Canadian teams have been cursed, haven't won it all since I was born in '96. While true, the fact of the matter is, in all these franchises, like, half the American teams have Canadians on them and vice versa, right? Like, it'd be different if it was like, oh, this is Toronto Maple Leafs. Everyone in here is from Toronto. We know that's not the case. My dad is a Leafs fan, though, and has been a Leafs fan his entire life. And let me tell you something. It's hard being a Leafs fan. He prays every day for those Toronto Maple Leafs to even have a chance at the Cup. He prays every year. And they let him down every year. Sometimes they actually get really close, and then they fucking choke. Now, I'll sometimes watch sports like during the Olympics, but maybe that's about it. I was pulling for the Oilers last Stanley Cup. Oh, well. My Devils keep getting their ass kicked by the Carolina Hurricanes, which is my state team. You're in North Carolina now. New York to North Carolina, that's quite the switch. Well, you said you're from Long Island, so I guess you're not from, like, New York, you know? Meanwhile, I haven't lived in an actual city my entire goddamn life. Visited a couple, been to Toronto a couple times, went to Vegas a couple of times. That ends the extent of my visiting of cities. Can't be bothered. That's not to say I'm some sort of rural person. I cannot stand rural living either. I just like my little... I like my suburban towns, you know? Not so busy and crazy as a city, but still access to good internets. Oh, I saw my Devils choke in Game 5 in the Semi-Eastern Conference Finals to the Canes. First Devils game for me since I saw them in the Stanley Cup in 2003 when I was little. Did it hurt you right here? Because it hurts my dad every year. And yet the Leafs are still consistently like the highest selling ticket team in the league because their fans are so loyal for some fucking reason. Which I guess in one sense I can appreciate. If you only cheer for a team when they're doing well, then you're not attracted to a team, are you? You just want to be like, oh, I'm on the winning side. All I gotta say is I miss Martin. I'm gonna butcher that name. Brodeur. See, I don't even know who that is. If you ask me about hockey players, I can state like some of the more famous ones. But if you were to ask me, hey, name some people who are like actually in the NHL right now, I'd be like, no. I cannot. Greatest goalie of all time? Yeah, see, no idea who that was. Even at the game, so I didn't see in person, I like had no idea who anybody was. I was just like, look, it's number 62. What's his name? His name is number 62. What do you mean? I bet I've heard of Gretzky. Well, I mean, yes, I've heard of Gretzky. I've heard of, like, I can name off some of the, like, really famous hockey players like Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr. But you see, Gretzky is... I think even if you're not a fan of hockey, you just know who Gretzky is. Yeah, Sidney Crosby, another one. Because Gretzky... Like, if you're not into hockey, it can be a little hard to explain to somebody just how good of a hockey player Wayne Gretzky was. Like, his story is fascinating, and it's like, it's one of those ones where it's like, I do kind of like hearing of his story. Yeah, Gretzky's name transcends the sport. And it's because he's like, even though I know in Canada it's not kosher to like him right now, but I still gush about him. But it's because, like, in terms of any athlete, very few athletes have dominated their respective sport as hard as Gretzky did. Like, he fundamentally changed the way that hockey had to be played. Because if you were trying to play hockey the same way it was pre-Gretzky, you lost to Gretzky. Like, it's mind-boggling what that single man did for the sport. Or to the sport, depending on how you want to look at it. So, yes, I know Gretzky. And I have visited the Hockey Hall of Fame when I was in Toronto because, you know, as a Canadian, I feel like it's like, even if you're not a hockey fan, that's like a pilgrimage you're meant to go on. To go to the Hockey Hall of Fame and see the Stanley Cup and like all the iterations of the Stanley Cup are in the one room, which is called the Cathedral, because as Canadians, we're nothing if not on the nose when it comes to hockey. So you enter the cathedral with literal fucking stained glass windows to look at all the Stanley Cups. So, I mean, I have done that. But no, I just can't get into watching sports on TV. And as a result, I don't go through the effort of absorbing sports or the names of the athletes or anything. And I'll watch a sports movie periodically, and some of them have really good stories and really cool speeches and things like that. But it's like, even if they're like, this was one of the greatest baseball games ever, it's like, yeah, but then I have to watch a bunch of like shitty baseball games because I never know which game will be a great game. You know? But again, it might be a different story to be at a baseball game, right? And you get the energy of the crowd, you get the experience of your baseball hot dog while you're playing the baseball, watching the baseballs. But I would know, I've never been to a baseball game. I've never lived in a place that had any, like, professional leagues of anything, so. There was a couple of times where I thought about watching some of my university teams, like basketball games, when I was in university. You know, university is a time to experiment, as some people say, and my experimentation would be, can I watch basketball? But then I kept hearing that our men's basketball team fucking sucked. Every time I picked up the university newspaper, and yes, I read the university newspaper, they'd be like, and the Seahawks have lost again. This time they only lost by 20 points. And I'd be like, do I want to go watch that? And experience that kind of level of second-hand embarrassment? Now, esports? Now we're talking. I was a huge fan of BlizzCon back in the day when they had Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft 2. Oh, mwah. I was in heaven. Like, there was a time in my life when I used to book time off work to watch BlizzCon. And I hate, with an absolute passion, that that's not the way the company is anymore. It makes me hurt to my core, man. They put all their eggs in the Overwatch basket, and now look where the fuck we are. I mean, like, my wife was even into those esports. Like, think about that. My wife's not into sports either, but she would sit down and watch Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft 2 matches with me during BlizzCon. Like, that's how much of an event it was for me. Why does everything that's cool end up sucking, guys? I'm not even having a midlife crisis. I'm having a why does everything suck now crisis. And I do everything I can to kind of resist saying that things suck. I've seen numerous TikToks or YouTube videos of people talking about how they just don't feel the same about gaming anymore. And they never want to play anything. But that, you know, I find that a lot of those people, like, one of the reasons they'll always post about why they feel that way is like, well, one of the things they miss is getting online with the boys and playing Halo. And I'm like, I don't think it's gaming you miss. I think you just miss your friends. Which is entirely valid, don't get me wrong. I mean, I played World of Warcraft for years. A stupid amount of years, in fact. An almost immoral number of hours. And I actually ran my own guild for a little while. And I loved it, but as, you know, people quit the game because of they were having kids or starting new jobs or experiencing burnout with the game or boredom or whatever. It always felt hard trying to rebuild the guild because it was just like I missed those original group so much that it kind of affected how I felt about the game after a while. Now I find the game less fun for a completely different set of reasons, but, you know. But, like, seriously, why does everything suck now? I say as I play a Doom level that is intentionally made to suck. Like, why does everything suck now as I play something that is trying to ruin me as a person? I do wonder what happens when I get to the top of this tower, too. Like, when I get up there, Are there... Is there more switches up there? I can't see. Do I have to run back and forth on both sides again? I'm just trying to gauge how fucked I am. I mean, I'm not going to be able to find out this stream, but next stream, I'll probably be at the point where I'll be done this loop and I'll be able to at least see what might be up on those towers or how those towers are working. Yeah, see, I can't tell because it's like I see the giant faces there, but I can't see if I have to like run on both sides again. I'm assuming I must. It would only make sense, I think, given the consistency that this level has had with that. I sincerely doubt the map maker's going to have any goddamn mercy on me by the end of this. But once I get back, I think that's 3 towers that are done on their 3rd lap now. So I probably could just check one of the towers I've already done just to see what happens, but then I feel like I'd lose my place. And the tower that I left behind to do that experimentation, so I feel like I can't do that. Although the UV max of this is 13 hours, so I'm just trying to think. Because at the end of this stream, there'll be the 8-hour mark? Yeah, I feel like it'll be the 8-hour mark. So if that's the 8-hour mark... But I'm still saying that it will take another 8 hours. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do, like, math in my head and trying to make it make sense with the structure of this level. Oh, no, sorry. Wait. This would be my 10 hours. Okay. That was like... I feel like I'm doing the math wrong. No, this is hour 10 I'm going to get to. This isn't hour 10. This isn't hour 8. This is hour 10. I literally have a timer down there, and I just completely forgot to look at it, and therefore forgot how to math. Whee! Which means I'm definitely closer to being done than I am not being done. And that will keep me motivated. Plus, apparently, pouring water on myself, which is a necessity to keep myself awake at this point. Sometimes I feel like I need to do that at work, but they'll look at me funny. You're probably wondering why I keep saving. I'm really paranoid about my computer crashing. Or the game crashing. Because if I don't, it's easy to forget to save when there's literally nothing that's dangerous. But if it crashes and I lose like 30 minutes of progress, I'll cry. So I can probably get to the middle. And maybe get to the next tower before the end of my stream. Because so far I think I'm slightly ahead of schedule from what I believed I would be at. Yeah, I think I'm only going to have one tower left to do that with. I'm also trying really, like, I'm so curious. Like, I've been so curious, and I want to no-clip up a tower. Just to see how it works. But if I do that, I feel like I'd be disqualified from getting the tag in Lucky Eddie's Discord. Because I get a special tag if I do this legitimately. And I feel like if I no-clip even for the purpose of research, they'd be like, nope, nope, fail. Now, that being said, I don't know if I see a spot for more switches on those towers. There's an obvious spot for 3 switches to get me to the top. But if I had to go on both sides of the tower a 4th time... I'm so confused. I'm doing my damnedest to try and, like, get this done before October. And I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Even though I feel like this could definitely fit in a Terratober stream, because goddamn, this is pure terror. I have another bottle of water, but I can't open it one-handed, and I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. I can't take a break right now. I have to go as much as possible. Never have I felt more penny pinching on my time in a Doom level than this. And I hope the map maker's happy. I hope this is exactly what they want. Let them laugh it up. I'm losing my sanity. I might be talking to myself. I have no idea if anybody's actually watching. Everyone could be lurking. Nobody's actually paying attention. I'm just talking to myself. I feel like in order to be a streamer, you gotta be a certain level of crazy. You had to be ready to talk to yourself. Nobody else is in the room, just you. The guy on a second monitor while you play Street Fighter 2. I am honored to be your background noise, sir. So who's your main Street Fighter 2 character? Like who do you main? And are you just like are you playing it like competitively like on an online mode? Does Street Fighter 2 have an online mode these days? I was quite fond of playing M. Bison when I played Street Fighter 2. Oh, Street Fighter 11. Or no, Street Fighter 2. Okay. Street Fighter 2 from 1992. So, do you have a main character, or what you doing? Are you like a E Honda man? I didn't have a main then, but I usually played Shoto or Guile. I think I used to like M. Bison the most. Which is probably funny because he's probably a little bit broken, which might have been why I liked him. Although I did like... Once Champion Edition came out, I immediately went to Vega. Actually, you know what? Now that you said that, no. I might have played Vega more. Should Vega have been allowed to bring those claws to the fight? I feel like that's cheating. Everyone else is like bare knuckling it with, you know, some special abilities, but he's just coming in with claws and going for the stabs. But I guess I can't say anything. We have Blanca, who's literally electrocuting people, so. The game played fast and loose with the rules of this fight. At least Mortal Kombat was just like, no, it's a fight to the death. There's no rules. You just can't bring guns and knives. And, like, yeah, fair guys are chucking plasma at each other. Is that what Ryu was doing? It's not sanctioned prize fighter. Have you seen the casting for the new Street Fighter movie? I'm sorry, I can't imagine anybody that isn't Raul Julia playing M. Bison. It just, I don't think it's gonna work. See, like, where would a fourth shit show up? Bison? I thought Bison was in it. Because I think I remember seeing someone go, I don't know if this guy is going to be able to properly play Bison. I could have swore I saw something about Bison being in it. But at the same time, whenever they try to do these, like, movies now, they're like, no, what we need to do is save the main villain for the sequel. So yeah, now it might be that they're just... Maybe it is, but I can't recall there being certain major holes in the roster. Well, I mean... there is a fair number of characters. And even more as the years went on. I can't imagine trying to do a Mortal Kombat movie that literally had every character in it. Jesus Christ, they'd lose all their money on actors. Even if they got actors they could get away without paying so much. I mean, in Street Fighter 2, eventually the main villain gets chumped by some dude out of nowhere without any explanation. I just love how the original Street Fighter movie did not lean into anybody's special abilities. They just kind of like... Everyone was just really good at kung fu fighting. But that meant, like, you never actually saw Ryu throw one of his Hadoukens. Yes, but he doesn't throw the Hadouken. You do not see the Hadouken. Because he hits him with his bare hands. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't a Hadouken. It just impacted immediately. But you do not see the Hadouken. Now they do a flashbulb when he makes the physical motion. Exactly. E Honda was not doing enough thousand hand slapping. There was a distinct lack of spinning pile drivers from Zangief. Such a sorry-ass movie. Raul Julia was the only good part of that whole mess. And that's what's like so funny. It's like I always laugh whenever there's a movie. It's like, and it's so bad, but there's just one actor in it that just like doesn't give a shit that it's bad and like chews up the scenery, and it's hilarious. Oh wait, there was a knee press and a whole ass double sweep and flash kick in the Guile versus Bison fight. Well, Bison was like flying and shit. And I guess he did his electrical hand thing. But no, like, it's like in, like, if you ever watched the original Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out years and years ago, where Jeremy Irons played the villain. Like, Jeremy Irons didn't give a fuck. He's like, this is my movie now. And it was hilarious. He chewed so much scenery. And I'm like, this movie is awful, and I don't care. He's got that head stomp and Psycho Crusher where he flies at you. Bison had some pretty brutal looking moves, didn't he? Now, sometimes I feel like it's more fun watching a bad movie than a good movie, you know? I talk whenever I can about how I watched Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus, and it was the funniest fucking experience of my life. One of the things that the recent movie did so well is that the characters were played as if they were unhinged PCs making shit up as they went along, which is exactly the D&D experience. But that's the thing, it's like when you try to turn it into a movie form, sometimes like if you're not a D&D, like a D&D fan watching that movie understood that those PCs like really mimicked what it's like to play D&D, right? But anyone who is not a D&D player is like, why is this movie so fucking silly? And you're like, you don't get it. It's capturing the essence. And I say this as somebody who's never actually played D&D. I have not had the privilege. I live vicariously through Critical Role episodes. Swing. Now I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, were there any other movies where people just chewed up the scenery and made it awesome? Because now I'm trying to think about it, and I just keep thinking of Jeremy Irons. He has a hold over me. Well, D&D made over 200 million. Unfortunately, the budget was 150 billion. Still, it was well received. But again, like, I look at that and I go, that cost 150 million. I don't know where the fuck these budgets go, man. Hollywood is a grift. Certainly one way to put it. It's all a creative accountant has been since basically day one. But it's just, I don't understand how the budgets have gotten out of control to the point that they have. Like, they have to know that they're not going to be able to make money doing this shit. Right? Like, they have to, right? Because if you make every movie cost $200 million, then you need to make it needs to make $1 billion at the box office to be worth it. Meanwhile, you can make something like Cloverfield, which costs like $28 million, and you made it all back on the first goddamn day because it was only $28 million. Even when a movie loses money, someone is making money off of it. Well, I mean, the producer needs a new boat, bro. How else is he going to get his new boat? That's why horror movies keep getting made. They're cheap, and even when they do mediocre, they're profitable. That's why I love horror, man. That's not why I love horror. I just love horror in general. They just aren't profitable enough to move the needle for big production houses. I know. But I love me some horror. Horror is my favorite genre. And I love internet horror, man. Those, like, unfiction ARGs that are everywhere. Man, I love them. I was a huge follower of the, like, Slenderman series that so many people were doing back in the early 10s. If you make a horror movie for $5 million and it brings in 20, that's great, unless you're a big studio and your daily production costs are as much as that. I know. I actually have in my head an idea for a horror film, but I just don't think I have the time or knowledge to do it properly. Or anybody to help me, because I don't think my wife would be interested in helping me make a horror film. And yes, I'm aware as somebody who's watched a lot of horror that yes, my favorite genre is the genre that's most likely to be a bad movie. And I don't care. Alright, I think when I make it to this next tower is when we finish up for the night. I think I've put my all into this, guys. I think we might have to call it here. Even with dumping water on myself, my brain just can't process any longer. These fences, man. They do things to my mind. And because you're constantly moving, I just keep forgetting how long it takes to get through this. Because I was like, technically, I'm late to end the stream now. Because I was like, I'll just quickly get to the tower. Forgetting that it's not quick. It's like an 8-minute endeavor. One that I'm maybe just halfway past getting to now. But, like, seriously, in the lore of this level, who did this? Who built the fences like this? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to anybody who wanted to visit your towers? This feels all very unnecessary. I mean, I guess it's a great... the right Jungle Lantern did it. I mean, I guess it is a great way to deter people from invading your shit. It's like, are there things that can kill us? No. But I really don't want to go through the effort of walking through all of that. So it just deters you by boring you. Almost up there. Okay. I think that's 3 towers done now. All right. As we approach hour 10, I think that's where we finish for the night. I will be back Monday with Doom Mod Monday. And maybe, who knows, maybe I will have a key in my possession at the end of the next stream. So I hope you guys will tune in for that exciting moment. Either way, I do appreciate everybody who came in and said hello and kept me company on this monotonous walk. So thanks Yodi, Evie, Lucky Eddie, Bitefire, Loser Corner, and Dazboat for the raid. Much appreciated. Anybody else who has come in and out during the stream, I see you and I appreciate you. But I am very tired. I need to go. So I'll see you guys on Monday. We'll see how far we get. I love you all. You have a fantastic weekend. Good night. No, the great Jungle Lantern put together all the other levels too, did he? Like, so why did he make this one extra sadistic? They already were sadistic. Why did he do this? Why?